We're in Natal for the opening round of the SA Rally Championship, the Hitachi Tools Tour Natal Rally. It's the 45th running of this event. And after a 5-month break in action, Sorrel, how much has changed?
Well, a lot has changed, but nothing's really changed. We've basically got the same teams, a few cars here and there, a new car for Toyota. But essentially it's going to be the same guys competing for the title. Maybe a bit stronger in four-wheel drives, but otherwise I think about the same.
But I'm sure they'll get up to speed pretty quickly.
And so it's a new year, but essentially the same script as last year.
You're right, nothing's changed except that we got 16 N4 cars. So, you know, the pure numbers are counting against us.
And some say that you cost yourself the championship last year. Are you going to have any different approach this year?
No, I wouldn't agree to that. I think we had a hard run on the championship. But, you know, a championship's made up of a lot of things. And a lot of cars have to fall in place. You know, performing well and winning the stages is probably 10% of what you need to win the championship.
But barring any mishaps, it's still a three-man race, really.
It is, yeah. No, I think we're the three guys going for a win. But I don't think we can rule out a serious attack from the N4 cars. You know, we three guys living at the limits at the front and looking for places to get punctures, and then you got 16 N4 cars having which we would describe as a relaxed drive behind us, because, you know, they're probably running 9/10s, but they're not taking the risks that we have to take to stay in front. So I think that you, through the season, you would find one or two of those cars actually winning an event, and a guy like Fernando Rueda certainly got the confidence in himself, and also Visser is now joined that squad, and I think they're all young guys with a lot of drive, and they'd love to show us what they can do.
Close to the country.
Yeah, unfortunately the new car didn't arrive. It docked yesterday, so it was no point in rushing and getting it here. It'll be ready for the Rally of South Africa. It's the latest version, it's the Evolution 8. It's got an active center diff, which should give us a bit more traction, and hopefully that'll give me all we need to clinch the championship.
And I believe the A7, the Polos, are going really well with the wider tires and the body kit.
Yeah, you know, just looking at them, there's not much difference between the cars, really. So I think, yeah, we could expect a surprise or two, maybe.
And have you done any work in the off-season?
No, very little. I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't do a significant amount of testing. I think we should have. But anyway, that was a decision made. And basically, it's the same car as last year. New paint, bit of a wing. Doesn't feel bad. I think the preparation was pretty good. And, yeah, we're pretty hopeful.
And Toyota, they're really the all-new package, completely new car, the new Run-X. How do you think that's going to go?
They've got a new car. It's supposed to be better, but as normally happens with new cars, they've run into a lot of handling problems, and I think it's probably going to take them an event or two to sort out. But having said that, of course, you've got Dempsey driving the car, and he's still one of the best drivers around, so I expect a lot from him again. He made a lot of mistakes last year, so did Toyota, so I think they're looking for a better season than they had last year. Fernando Rueda ended up the best of the lot last year, or the quickest. He was in a position to win a few times. Skalkberger's got a brand new car. Unfortunately, Johnny Gemmell, the only guy that's actually won with the N4 cars, is not here this year, or not in the first event anyway. And then a lot of new privateers. Visser du Plessis, Jeff Mortimer's got a new car, although he's probably 20 years too old for it, but he's still going to be around, and I think it's going to be a very competitive class. In fact, the most competitive class in the rally.
And you know these roads well. What can the competitors expect out in the sugarcane fields?
It's very fast, very slippery. Some of the best rally roads in the country, but very difficult to read because of the sugarcane. You're forever driving blind most of the time. So it's going to be a good event, and it's the type of event where you only break your car off the road and not on the road. Used to the navigator or the team has got to get used to each other. But looking forward to the event.
The opening rally of the year kicked off with a short round-the-houses type stage in the car park of the Gateway Shopping Centre in Umhlanga Rocks. Last season's championship runner-up Enzo Kuhn and new navigator Guy Hodgson led the 52-car field away in their Class A8 Sasol Volkswagen Golf, with high hopes of going one better this time round. After winning the Class A6 title last year, JP Damso and Cooper's Frey moved up a class to A7 in a new team total Toyota Corolla. They made a good start too, sharing the stage win with class rivals Jürgen Fecken and Dave Levkowitz in a Sasol Volkswagen Polo Player. Now in its 45th year, the bulk of the Tour Natal traditionally makes its way through the sugarcane fields of the region. Stage 2 saw the start of the rally proper, moving on to the fast and slippery gravel stages. Kuhn and Hodgson were quickly in the groove, setting second fastest time over the 16.5-kilometre test. Former champion Serge Damso, once again teamed with Robert Paisley in the new Castrol Toyota Run-X, started the event a worried man. Brief pre-event testing had shown the handling of the car to be awkward. Let's watch from the in-car camera just how hard he had to work behind the wheel and look out for the overshoot. The Toyota's troubles would cost the pair 37 seconds on this stage, dropping them well off the pace of the early leaders. The in-car camera in the Sasol Volkswagen Golf of Jan Habich and Douglas Judd highlights the higher level of confidence Habich has in his car compared to Damso in the same stage. Let's listen in on the action.
600 meters.
On board with Damso, as if dealing with the wayward handling of the Run-X wasn't enough, he still had to contend with a combi in the middle of the stage. The Run-X is a brand new car built at Toyota's Motorsport Workshop in Johannesburg. It features a completely new suspension system and drivetrain, and it is the solid beam rear axle that was the root cause of the handling problems. The setup left the rear end wanting to swap ends constantly, preventing Damso from looking for the limit of the car's abilities. Back with reigning champions Habich and Judd in the Golf. Habich was his usual spectacular self behind the wheel. Having been involved in a title battle with teammate Kuhn throughout last season, much the same was expected this year. The Italian was therefore determined to get his campaign off to a winning start, unlike in 2002 when he had to settle for second place behind Kuhn on this event. After making huge progress last year, Rueda had high hopes for overall success in the motion vehicle wholesalers Mitsubishi, but his event would be over before the end of the stage. Etienne Lawrence and Andre Vermeulen were bang on the pace out of the starting blocks in their team total Toyota Corolla, setting the fastest stage time by 6 seconds. Fecken was bent on beating Class A7 rival Lawrence, but an early misfire put him on the back foot early on. Back in car with Habich and Judd. A misfire in the engine was later traced to a faulty crankshaft sensor. Together with a wrong slot, nicely caught on camera, it cost the pair 24 seconds to stage winners Lawrence and Vermeulen. Schalk Burger teamed up with 7-time South African Navigators champion Vito Bonifati for this event. They were in a newly built Bridgestone Subaru Impreza and soon lost time with a faulty odometer in the first 2 stages. Chart van der Walt and Mike Burrows were in the second Sasol Volkswagen Polo Player, but it did not take kindly to the first water splash. Damso Jr. was relishing driving his new Toyota, effectively his father's 2002 Class A8 car, but downgraded to A7 spec. JP was driving smoothly and even impressed Sarel with the way he set up the car for corners. Reigning Class N4 champs Leon Buerta and Johan Seeling in the Rally Star Subaru Impreza clocked 4th fastest on stage 2, but retired in stage 4. Veteran Peter Altersky made an appearance in his old Toyota Conquest, teamed with Alan Bissett. They would also retire in stage 4. The new top car Bosch E46 BMW of Cliff Blackman and Johan Klaassen was also completed late in the day, which prevented any pre-event testing. The duo was simply hoping to make it to the finish, something they had failed to do for the previous 6 years, and they would suffer the same fate again. Nicholas Ryan and Brian Careyhill were very cautious through the water splash in their ABC Motor Subaru Impreza, but they would prove to be the stars of the rally. Krista Witt purchased a new CTH Transport Toyota Corolla for the season, but it meant moving down to the slower N2 class. With new navigator Janine Labuschagne, he was hoping for a good start to the year. Visser Du Plessis and Thilo van Westenhagen upgraded their machinery to a Subaru Impreza, but he went off the road in Stage 4 and was forced to retire with a cracked rib. Stage 3 was the second longest of the event at 30.31 kilometers. We drove in car with Habich and Judd as he made a spectacular start to the stage, holding the car at incredible angles to the road. Trouble was brewing, however. Meanwhile, Kuhn was involved in a tough battle for the lead with Lorenz in the Total Toyota. This stage went to the Sasol Golf, but it was close, just 2 seconds separating the pair. Kuhn was going to have to work hard to repeat his win of a year earlier. Damso was still driving the Ranex as fast as he dared, but it was not fast enough to keep pace with the leaders. Not helping his cause either was a misfire that prevented the car from revving properly. The 8-time South African champion finished 11 seconds off the winning pace. Back in car with Habich and Judd, you can see something is amiss. The champ isn't nearly as spectacular as he was earlier in the stage. A broken side shaft forced Habich into damage control mode to minimize the time lost. He managed to keep a brisk pace once the Golf had picked up speed out of the slow corners and lost just 24 seconds to stage winner Kuhn. Habich is a 4-time winner of the South African Championship. Should he win the title again this year, it'll be a hat trick of wins for him, a feat not achieved since Damso's 5-in-a-row winning streak from 1992 to 96. Navigator Judd has even more titles to his name, 5 in total. However, he has a long way to go before eclipsing Frans Bossel's record of 11 titles. Driving and preparing cars is hard work. The Volkswagen team, as always, provided its team members with delicious fare. Damso took the opportunity to feast his eyes on the Golf's engine bay in search of secrets before going into service, while Habich also took a peek to see where that elusive extra power had gone to. Clocking the Ranex into service, Damso quickly debriefed Toyota team manager Wami Haddad on what the car was doing in the stages. There's no doubt that the team will sort the rear-end handling problems out, but it will take a lot of testing and hard work after this event. Habich was quick to jump out of his car and get the crew working on the broken side shaft, spurring them on as they got to work. Lorenz was driving superbly and was deservedly in the lead of the rally at this point.
Etienne, it looks like you're starting the new year on the same note you finished the old one.
Yeah, it's early days yet, but yeah, we can't complain. We've got a little bit more power and it's going well. Car's handling nicely. I'm just not used to the slippery roads anymore, living up in Gauteng now.
What's the difference between the car now and last year?
I wouldn't be able to tell you. It's a state secret at this point in time. No, I think it's probably about 20 kilowatts plus minus.
It seems to have a lot more torque as well, because very quick and low revs out the corner.
Yeah, it's got more torque than last year, but it still flattens out at the top. But it's nice. It's nice to drive.
Well, we're looking forward to a dice between you and Enzo to the end, so just keep it there.
Well, it's early days, as I said before. We'll keep it there. We'll try anyway.
Navigator Hodgson signed the Kuhn Golf, still first on the road, out of the service area time control before they headed for stage 4. Rueda's rally was all over. He exits the stage in the boot.
Fernand, it was a bad luck so early on in the event.
Yeah, it really was. The car was great, and then over the second jump, something let go, and the transfer box, we think one of the shafts of the transfer box broke, and we got no drive at all. So we just stopped there.
And there wasn't enough time to change the box.
No, we were in stage, so we never had enough time. No. It's just very bad luck. So that's what can I say. I mean, sorry, what can I say?
Right out the new car, maybe more.
Next rally with a new car. It's in Cape Town. They've offloaded it this morning. They just phoned us now. It's in the workshop. So brand new car. We'll do what we said we would do, hopefully.
Well, you obviously stopped somewhere very dusty because you can now go and wash your face.
Oh, yeah, very dusty. We had to walk out for over an hour. You've done that before, I'm sure. Thank you.
Habich's crew was still working frantically to get the side shaft repaired on the Golf within the allowed service time to avoid incurring a penalty. Meanwhile, Ryan had picked up his pace in the Subaru after the water splash and was posting good stage times. Cape Townian Werner Kukamur and Graham Hooper got it all wrong in their auto spot Subaru Impreza. Which left is the one you were talking about, Graham? Italians Tony Ball and Dean Reardinghuis, the Sasol Polo player, were hoping for a good result in their home event, but it was not to be. They also retired after stage 4. Reigning Class N2 champion Dean Sanders, teamed with Rod Herring, was taking things cautiously in the Team Total Toyota Corolla. And former track racer Charles Vulcan with Robin Houghton in the navigator's seat was getting to grips with the dirty stuff in the Class N3 Castrol Runex. Vulcan's class competition came from Wiley Harrington and Willie van Straten in a hastily built Renault Clio. After 3 stages, it was the Clio that was ahead.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
Keane was not happy about being 4 seconds down on Lawrence at the service halt. His plan was to pull out all the stops to take the lead, but being first on the road, he had the worst of the slippery surface.
300, keep on this road. Stay on this road.
Damso had the bit between his teeth on this stage, the longest of the rally at over 39 kilometers. He was blisteringly quick for most of it, but would run into trouble. Keane was still driving on the limit, but despite his best efforts, he was only equal 4th fastest and dropped another 2 seconds to Lawrence.
Good to go.
The crew's comments on the stage and as they pull up to the time control says it all.
Stand by. Okay, thank you. Okay, that's it. Holy moly, what a stage. I'm drenched, isn't it?
Note the missing rear wheel on the Toyota. Despite driving with no wheel for 3.5 kilometers, Damso still managed equal 4th fastest time on the stage with Keane. Habich was enjoying the swept roads and made the most of it. He was comfortably fastest, a whole 13 seconds ahead of the next man. It was an important win for the Golf crew as they had started the stage 44 seconds behind leader Lawrence. Lawrence and Vermeulen, the winners of Class A7 last season, had stepped up a gear since their victory on the 2002 Great North Rally. With confidence high and a more powerful car, they now posed a serious threat to the faster Class A8 contenders. Former class champions Fecken and Levkovitz were not about to take the Lawrence challenge lying down. They suffered a misfire in the early stages, but bounced back on this stage to set 2nd fastest time. Former African rally champion Berger was treating day 1 as a test session for his new Impreza. With the odometer now working, he was tweaking the handling to suit his driving style as the event progressed. He also complained of a down-on-power engine, a problem traced to a loose turbo intercooler pipe. Despite his troubles, he was leading Group N and Class N4. Damso's wheel loss was the result of a wheel bearing that had pulled out of the hub. The Toyota technicians quickly repaired the damage, and with his spotlights fitted, he was now ready to tackle stage 5. The fifth stage was a short 4.5-kilometre spectator-friendly stage in the Westmead suburb of Pinetown. It attracted a healthy complement of spectators, but unfortunately the action was delayed by an hour due to traffic problems. Kuhn and Hodgson were first into the stage. With darkness setting in, they almost overshot a corner, being forced to use some of the embankment to get around the turn. The tricky corner would claim more victims. No such problems for a cautious Damso and Paisley, but once on the dirt, they coasted along and almost came to a complete stop as they attempted to determine which road to follow. On board with Lawrence and Vermeulen, watch for the digital readout showing the selected gear. Their smooth run is about to come to an end as they make an awful mess of the same corner that almost caught out Kuhn. They recovered well from the wrong slot though and completed the rest of the stage without mishap. It was a costly mistake. They lost 19 seconds to stage winner Habich. How can the Class A7 car of Lawrence be challenging the Class A8 cars, you may ask? Well, it produces about 15 to 25 kilowatts less power than the Class A8 cars, but is about 100 kilograms lighter, which makes up for the power loss. Both use sequential gearboxes, and in all other respects, the cars are much the same. Running through some of the other classes, A6 caters for cars of 1.4 to 1.6 litres, while Class A5 is for cars of up to 1400 cc. Sequential gearboxes are banned in these classes. With drivers unwilling to be first on the road due to the loose surface, the top three crews of Habich, Kuhn and Lawrence all took lateness and incurred a 10-second penalty in an attempt to adjust their road positions. With all three playing the same game, there was no change in the order. At the overnight halt, just 2 seconds separated the top three cars and 43 seconds the top six. The surprise of the rally was the team of Ryan and Carryhill in 8th place.
So expecting a charge from him today, but like we said, the big surprise yesterday hit Etienne Lawrence.
Yeah, we got to just keep the pace now. I think, you know, we've been on second on the road. Now this one we used yesterday, so it's an advantage for car number one. But the other ones are new ones, so the surface should be a little bit more slippery for them. So yeah, I've got to try and keep the pace. Yeah.
Are you surprised at your pace at all this year?
I am to a degree, but I've got a lot more power under the bonnet, so I think that's, you know, that's a big plus.
Certainly looks like you're using it well there.
Yeah, I think there's still a little bit more for me to use, but you know, I don't want to stick my neck out too far. As I also said yesterday, it's early days. Long day today, 120 k's, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and after the initial problems, it seems to be going well now.
Yeah, we had a small hiccup or two in the first two stages yesterday and lost a significant amount of time, but once you got the thing going, it wasn't too bad, and we managed to pull back most of it, and we'll see what happens today.
And then I see the top three cars were playing city buggers last night, taking lateness not to be first on the road. How much is that really worth?
Yeah, I think maybe it's psychologically worth more than actual effect on the road, but I think it is slightly better to be better further back in the field. But, you know, we're in the front now, so we'll just make the best of it.
After all the playing, it didn't work for you.
Maybe we got that wrong.
You touched on yesterday being a test session for the Toyotas, but it seems to be like that for a lot of the teams in that. And they've had a 4-month break, yet they don't seem to be prepared on day one of a rally. It's quite puzzling, isn't it?
Well, we normally say that whatever time you have in motorsport is 1 week too little, but 4 months really period. The car should have been finished. Scott built a new car, he's battling, he's not getting it ready. The Toyota team, like we said, they've been having a torrid rally up to now. And certainly I think the car will work for the next rally, but they've got a new engine, new suspension, new everything, and it's just not coming together. Although Serge is really driving hard. But I think you're right, yes, it should have been ready. 4 months is a hell of a long time, and it's not like people have to build a spaceship.
Fecken and Levkovitz started day 2 in 6th place after a few problems on day 1, but their commitment here showed that they were determined to improve on their third in class and move up the order. They would not succeed, however. They lost over 15 minutes, stuck on the inside of a hairpin in stage 7 after cutting a corner. On the next stage, they retired with a blown engine. Into stage 8, and veteran rallyist Harrington was still going well in the friendly grocer Renault Clio. He had incurred a 30-second penalty when the car failed to start in the morning holding area, a problem traced to a faulty battery. Still leading Class N3, he was about to lose 1 minute in the stage, putting that class lead under threat. A broken suspension slowed him dramatically and made the car a handful to control. We travel with him and share some hairy moments as he fights the Renault through the stage. He loses so much time that he's forced to let through Costa Kumatarakis and John Costas in their Class S20 Bridgestone Toyota Conquest.
Same spot after the cars have been through, and then we'll see where the lines are and what they've cleared, but it certainly makes a difference.
Habich was first on the road, clearing the loose stuff in stage 9. On board with Kuhn, who was running second on the road, you clearly see Habich's tyre tracks on the road ahead. With just a single track swept, Kuhn would not benefit from road position as much as the cars further down the order. But just how much does sweeping really help? According to the stage times, the loose surface did not hamper Habich very much, as he shared the stage win with Berger, who was 6th on the road. Kuhn was next fastest, 1 second off the pace, but he was about to face other concerns. By stage 9, early rally leaders Lawrence and Vermeulen had unfortunately departed already. They were pushing hard through a series of fast sweeps in stage 8, lost control and crashed into a bank. We hadn't seen much of Van der Walt and Burrows on this event. They lost time on stage 2 when the Polo Pay ingested water twice and suffered from a recurring misfire. A broken side shaft later in the stage would scupper any chances of a podium finish. Damso started the day in 5th, but once again it was apparent that he was still not confident about the handling of the car, backing off where he would normally be flat out. It's a very unpleasant way to drive, but Damso was calling on all his experience to resist the temptation to go too fast. He knew that he could score valuable points if he could make it to the finish.
Our 4 cars have been through now in the very same spot we sat earlier, and you can see this has all been cleared out. That's where the gravel was, and there's obviously a lot more traction here than there is there, and that's what all the fuss is about.
In the Sasol Volkswagen service area, it's a case of worried faces all round. Kuhn's car had begun to misfire on the open section after stage 9, and the diagnosis was not good. The car had bent a valve, a problem that could not be solved in the time available. With his hands tied, team manager Johan Evertse made the decision to send Kuhn into the 8-kilometer stage 10 anyway. No such problems for Damso, who had watched the rally slowly come to him. Waiting at the start of stage 10, he could only have been thanking his lucky stars as he and Paisley discussed the Volkswagen's impending fate.
That's why I want to know those things, because now I can attack a bit more, you see? Only when he left there.
The marshal appeared to have had enough of the heat by now, and her enthusiasm for the event was waning as she waited for the Toyota to get going. Damso and Paisley completed their final preparations before starting the stage, and we joined them for a feel of high-speed sugar-fueled driving. Keenan Hodgson's Golf was still running and would make it through the stage, but it was sounding terribly sick. The end of its special stage performances had arrived. Damso was not hanging around in stage 10 despite the jitters at the rear end of the Runex, but driving at this pace meant that he was open to mistakes. An overshoot on a tight right-hander left him distinctly unhappy, as the sign language illustrated. The Runex's overshoot could possibly have cost the pair their first stage win, as they finished only 14 seconds down on Habib, who won the stage. However, it was still good enough to move them up to second overall.
Sorrow, 4 stages since we last did a wrap, and at that stage we had 4 cars within a few seconds of each other, and it seems to have all gone a bit pear-shaped.
It seems like there's drama on this event every year. Enzo blew his engine, Ergen blew his engine, and at this point in time, Habib's leading by just over a minute from Surge, and I think it must be like Christmas for sure, because the car was never right for the event, and he's sitting in second place, which makes a hell of a difference from last year where he didn't finish. We still have Charge in third place, and Skarkberger has also come to light this morning, and he's closing fast on the Charge, so that could be a dice for third spot. But what's amazing in this event, you know, it's one of the rallies with the smoothest surfaces, but the attrition rate is just amazing every year, and we can't quite work out why, but certainly it's taken the sting out of the rally. And from here on, I think we'll just see people trying to consolidate.
This reliability issue, does it come back to what we were chatting about earlier? Maybe preparation's not quite up to scratch as it should be?
Maybe that's the case. It is the first event every year, and teams might not be ready. But of course, it could also be a different scenario where it's a very, very fast rally, very smooth. So the guys are probably using the engines, and especially revving higher than they would on other events. So maybe that's one of the causes, but it certainly is out of proportion to other events. So it's not something that's new to you, but you've been leading a rally again and out because of mechanical failure. What happened?
Yeah, sorry, it was a big disappointment. You know, we were just hoping to endorse our performance, get to the end, and on the open section on the way to the service area, the engine just started misfiring. And had a quick look, couldn't really find a problem, and as we started the next stage, just major noise in the front of the engine. So it looks like 2 valves broke off, and that's the end of our event, which is a great pity.
Why is the attrition rate so high on this event?
Well, the engines do work hard, the temperatures are high. I mean, I saw quite a few red lights on my dash on those long 30-kilometer stages, and I've been seeing oil temperatures of 180 all the time. So I think that could be one of the things. And then maybe it's the first round of the season, you know, everything is brand new and just needs to be sorted first, and sometimes we're testing new parts on the first event. That's what I'd say.
Bad luck, better luck next time.
Thanks.
Anyone up to now that's impressed you with their driving?
Well, Nick Ryan is now sitting in 5th place, which for him is quite amazing. He's come from nowhere and he's bought the Subaru and he's running up with the top guys. And it's nice to see youngsters coming through the field and having new names at the top of the leaderboard. It's, you know, we're getting a bit tired of all the same old faces, but certainly nice to see him around.
We're with Marco Houghton, leading Class A at the A5 at the moment. Marco, how's it going so far?
It's going all right, thanks. We're just trying to keep it on the road. The guys are falling by the wayside. The heat, it's very hot. The road conditions are very slippery. We've actually run out of tyres, so thank goodness we had a good day yesterday. So we're just pacing it today and just trying to stay ahead of my brother.
And Robin, how's it going in the N3 Runex?
Very well. Yesterday we decided on a very conservative approach. First time the car's been out, so just get some stage mileage on it. Dropped a little bit of time in our class, but today we decided to attack a little bit and at the moment, I think we're about 10 seconds behind first place in our class. So taking big time off Junior, because although he's in a lower class, he does take championship points away from us. So we aim on catching him still today.
And how many times has Shaw been off the road?
Actually, surprisingly today, since we started pushing and he's getting a feel for the type of roads, not once. So it's been pretty good today. Today it seems to have all come together. Car's working nicely. And yeah, everything seems well. So let's go for that class 1, hopefully, in the debut.
Yeah, we're with Wiley Harrington. Wiley, old veteran of rallying and racing, and back in it this year and leading class N3.
Yes, well, after 31 years in motorsport, I've decided I want to do a full season driving. I've always been in and out and do 3-4 events a year. And I was very aggressive in starting and doing a full season. You know, I was destined from the first event to do it. And it's been going very well yesterday. Unfortunately, today we lost 2 minutes. But the car's fully fixed now. So after the lunch break, we should be able to go again.
And I believe this Renault of yours was built in record time, just a week.
Yes, we were going to drive a Japanese-made car. Unfortunately, there was no engine and gearbox. It didn't come to the party, and I was actually considering a Renault before I considered driving a Toyota. And when the Toyota deal didn't come together, I went and I bought a Renault off the floor, bought it in a week, and I'm here, leading the class.
Craig Trott and Gerard Snyman were favourites to lift the Class A6 title in their Team Total Toyota Corolla after finishing second last year. With a thin class field, they never had to extend themselves too much to stay ahead. The Costas were running in a strong 10th spot overnight, but problems saw them drop out of the top 10 on day 2. Rocky Reinecker and Andre Pfeiffer had swapped their Golf for a Subaru Impreza in the off-season and were taking no risks as they familiarised themselves with the vehicle. Their approach paid dividends as they were now in the top 10. Local regional competitors Paul Gouveia and Schalk van Heerden had also worked their way up into the top 10 in their old Sharpline Nissan Sentra. Now, in their second year behind the wheel of the Auto Services Subaru Impreza, Mally Saville and Alec Harris were in the top 15. But they weren't likely to give their panel beater sponsor any work. Likewise, the Rally Chick sisters, Lola and Megan Verlaak, in their Subaru, they also enjoyed a steady drive to take 15th overall. The Sasol Volkswagen development squad of Nkosi Nzimande and Fani Maiwa were running on the fringes of the top 20, but driving steadily in their City Golf. They kept it on the road on the slippery surface to eventually finish 4th in class. With more than a minute over Damso starting the final gravel stage, Habich could afford to take it easy, but that is not his style, and he was pushing as hard as ever to keep his concentration levels up. He took the win again, making it his 8th stage win out of 14. Comfortably in second, Damso also had no reason to push hard, but he once again encountered last-minute problems. His car dropped a valve, and the crew were forced to block off cylinders to ensure he could complete the open road section and the final short tar stage. With the handling now to his liking and full power on tap, Berger put in an impressive second-day performance. He shared a stage win with Habich and took second fastest time in the last 5 stages to close in, but never threaten Damso's second place. If he carries this form into the next event, the Total Rally of South Africa, he will no doubt be a strong contender for the overall win. 32-year-old Ryan and 27-year-old Carrie Hill produced the drive of the rally. Will they be able to keep up the performance and even improve as the year progresses? That's the question on everyone's lips. The final stage was another short, spectator-friendly tar test in and around the Gateway Centre's car park and access roads. Just 3.7 kilometers now stood between the golf crew and victory. We went in-car with Damso's Toyota for the final stage. Listen to how sick the engine sounds. Not surprisingly, he cruised through the stage, but more importantly concluded a difficult rally for himself and the team with a rich haul of championship points. It's been a long time since Damso hasn't won a stage of a rally he's competed, and he probably hopes it won't happen again soon. Habich and Judd took their 9th stage win to confirm their dominance of the rally. The comfortable victory was a perfect start to the season for the reigning champions. A difficult debut for the new Renix then, but no doubt it'll be much more competitive by the next round of the championship. With the opening event of the season behind them, winners Habich and Judd head for the podium and the bubbly. Having completed the car shortly before the event started, Berger was very pleased to make it to the end, and finishing on the podium proved to be a double bonus and a solid start to his championship campaign. These tight and twisty spectator stages are never easy for the big and heavy Subarus to maneuver through. Let's join the crew for the entire stage and watch how hard Berger has to work to keep it going where he wants it to go. So, Habich and Judd finish at the top of the table again, with good performances coming from all the top 10 finishers. Standouts include Ryan and Careyhill and Houghton and Doherty, who forced their little Class A5 Toyota Taz into 10th overall. Subaru won the Manufacturers Award.
Jan, we said yesterday, if they wanted to be champion, they first got to beat the champion, but you didn't have a good start there.
No, it was a bit of a hiccup start at the beginning of the event, and this morning was a bit tough being first on the road. It's definitely worth a bit of time being further back. So, but anyway, at the end of the day, it worked out well. You know, once we got the car running well, it was pretty good, and we were comfortable with the pace as well.
You certainly looked quick enough throughout the event, so the car must have been fine at the end.
Yeah, and it was really performing very well at the end, and if we can get it the same for next event, I'll be happy.
A very high attrition rate, though.
I'm a bit surprised, but I think the pace is pretty hectic, and maybe the guys just overextended themselves and overextended their cars. I think it was generally the trend.
Well, that's certainly a very good start for another championship, eh?
I'll be working hard at it.
Well done, Jan.
Thank you very much.
What do you want?
So it certainly wasn't your best rally ever, but you must be smiling after all the trouble you had getting your car here.
Yeah, there was a battle from the start. You know, we've had a few problems, and then of course the last gravel stage when one of the valves decided to sort of drop halfway. I thought we're never going to get to the end, so at least we managed to get the car to the end.
Getting here on 3 cylinders and only half the valves is still better than staying out there like last year. Eh?
Yeah, you're right. A second's better than nothing.
Second is also a good start for a championship.
For points, you always need them.
Well done, Sergey.
Thank you.
Skada, you didn't have a good first day, but all sorts of problems, but you certainly finished very strong.
Yeah, Sarel, I wish the car was like on today, like yesterday, like it was today, because then I think it would be in a different position as well. But we were very happy where we finished, and I think it's a good result.
And some very good points for the championship as well.
Yes, definitely. That's all we came down for in the new car. So and we got good points, so we're very happy.
Maybe you're going to do a bit of testing before the next event.
Yeah, there will be time because we only finished this car a day before the rally.
Well, it's a super result. Many more this year.
Thank you very much.
And now, after talking to all the geriatrics and pensioners, it's so nice to see a young face again. Nick, very well done.
That's the good facelift, that's all. Thank you. No, it's excellent to be here. I'm not supposed to be running up against all the big boys at this time. It's been, I think Leon Burda said to be a little earlier. It took him years to get to 4th overall, but I'm happy to be here. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
But it's got to give you a lot of confidence for the rest of the year.
My only problem is to try and maintain it. I need to keep it going. But
Well, that's
I'll keep it running.
that's what makes you going, eh? Challenge.
Yeah, at least get me out of bed in the morning for the next rally.
Super drive.
Thank you very much.